Okay, greetings. I hope nobody will be too disappointed to hear that the first hour of this live stream will be a rerun of my midweek live stream, which this is the only place you can actually watch it at the minute, as I've taken it down unless you watched it live. If you did join in, appreciate you taking part in the week. I'll be back at about 10:30 p.m. when this stream comes to an end, and we'll be going live properly. Subjects for tonight, I may be thinking of talking about the 3 stages of truth, whether you're familiar with that. But I'm also open to people making suggestions in the live chat. Okay, this is my live stream from Wednesday. It goes on for an hour, and I'll be back when it is done. Any live chat, obviously, that I reference took part then, but I will be acknowledging anyone that makes a comment when I come on at 10:30. So I'll catch up with you then. See you soon. And thanks to anyone who's tuned in. Please do say hello in the live chat. Always appreciated. Catch up with you in an hour. Now, what are we going to be discussing? Jackie then goes on to ask, well, I've got a couple of subjects that we will come on to. The first one, I'm actually going to start with a video. I'm going to mute myself, watch this video, and see what you think. Oh, also, Kate Garraway, is that still going on? I cannot believe it. I'm sure I'm not the only person that would say, have we not, wasn't Kate Garraway's husband, which I'm guessing this story's about, we could look it up in the show. As much as I do have a couple of subjects I want to cover, I'm happy to take suggestions from the live chat, things people want to discuss. Yeah, Kate Garraway's husband, I'm sure he came out of hospital at some point and he had recovered, but now he's back in. Who knows? Anyway, this is the first subject. I'm curious about your views on it. So watch this video and I'll see you in a minute.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs. For the first time, radar images recorded inside a Navy ship have confirmed the presence of several unknown objects that swarmed around the ship for hours. I-Team reporter George Knapp here with a story that broke today on Mystery Wire.
Thanks, Brian. Over the past 3 years or so, the public has been able to see several astounding images of what certainly qualify as UFOs during encounters with the U.S. Navy. There's no question that the Pentagon has censored data to go along with the photos and videos, but none of that information has been leaked or otherwise released. That is, until today.
For 2 long hours on the night of July 15, 2019, the crew of the USS Omaha detected on multiple sensor systems unknown objects that surrounded the ship as it moved through ocean waters west of San Diego. One of the objects, a self-illuminated sphere at least 6 feet in diameter, flew alongside the Omaha for an extended period and was observed through a thermal sensor in the ship's combat center. Filmmaker Jeremy Corbell released the Navy video weeks ago and says similar events were reported by 8 other Navy ships in the same area over 3 days.
Mark bearing and range.
There was numerous warships that are having similar it appears to be coordinated interaction, and this whole series was within this kind of, I'd say, circumference of 100 miles, and there was up to 50 to 100 contacts.
In the last 3 years, the Pentagon has reluctantly confirmed the legitimacy of UFO images captured by Navy ships and air crews, including these photos taken off the coast of Virginia and the better-known videos, the so-called Tic Tac incident and the gimbal. But other than the images themselves, there's been no release of censored data to buttress these cases. There is now.
OD, if you can write a general that long where we're at, and the number of contacts you got, get the course and speed meters off.
Over a period of hours, crew members on the USS Omaha, which is located in the center.
Yeah, you got it. This is a video that came out back on the 28th of May. It ties in with another story that's made it into the Express. I'm not sure when this article was posted. Typical, I have to reload the page. Let me see. The 1st of June this one was. Look in the live chat. Andrew Legit, thanks for joining. Said fake UFOs. This is the next part of the deception. Could very well be the Case, Jackie Sharp, yep, alien invasion, how predictable are they? Well, this is something that's been talked about for a while. Hopefully we don't have to watch this advert. Hang on, we will try and read this story. Yeah, let's see. The thing is, I do kind of, when I think about the Rona, the virus that's been going on, you could almost compare that to like an alien invasion, something that's coming in, taking over all our bodies, supposedly. Right, according to the Express, UFO sighting over London, strange fleet seen in skies over the capital city. A strange fleet of lights was spotted over England's capital city, London, on Wednesday, sparking fears that UFOs have come to visit Earth. Yes, I bet. One stunned onlooker witnessed a strange selection of lights above the skies of London. The video was recorded on May the 26th and appears to show 8 bright lights in the night sky. The orbs moved around as they pulsate with a blue glow. I'm not sure if we've got a video. Have we? Is this a video? Nope. It appeared to be trying to load something up a minute ago. As you watch, you can hear the disbelief in one person's voice who is recording the footage. The video was uploaded to YouTube by Bettina Ascari Brochetto, who said the strange lights were there for more than 7 minutes. She posted in a caption alongside the footage, "Mysterious lights flying during the night in London. Is that a UFO? I recorded these mysterious lights flying for more than 7 minutes in the sky." We do have a few still shots of that. Jackie says, "I am concerned that the cyber attacks on our food supply." Alice, this is to distract us whilst they dismantle supply chains. Who knows? I mean, I would have said a couple of years ago, surely people aren't going to believe aliens are invading. But looking at what people have just gone through over the last year and a half, and it seems, put it on the mainstream media and anything is believable. It's interesting, this happens to tie in with a time where CGI, video image manipulation, is at an all-time, well, it's as good as it, they can now do CGI, which is almost impossible to tell from a real video. Let's see, the video was picked up by conspiracy theorist YouTube channel UFO Institute. Nice little plug there for a channel. While some who commented on the video were shocked and claimed it as proof of aliens, others offered more logical explanations. One person wrote, "Looks like a drone display to me." Another did not believe it was extraterrestrials. What is the Drake equation? I don't know what this is. Out of interest, I don't suppose any of you guys have ever been looking into the night sky. I remember doing this as a kid. A friend and I, we can't remember, probably about midnight or so, and we suddenly saw these 2 tiny little dots, which looked no bigger than the stars and appeared to be up there at the same kind of height as the stars. And they just shot across the night sky. And at one point, I even remember they sort of seemed to zigzag and then go back on their original course. Who knows? At the time, obviously, I knew no better, and I would have said, yeah, do you think they're UFO flying saucers or satellites? But who knows what is going on up in the night sky, hey? Mudlark digging up the Thames, greetings. Welcome to the live stream. I'm particularly glad I'm glad for all of you to tune in, but I know Mudlark sometimes misses my Sunday evening live stream. One purpose of doing a midweek live stream, of course, is to people that are not available on Sunday evenings. They can catch a live stream for an hour. Now, just to let you know, this hour will make up the first hour of my Sunday live stream as we go forward. So I'll still be doing 2 hours on Sunday from 9 PM. The first hour will be this replayed because this video isn't going to be available after I've finished the live stream until Sunday night. And so I'm still doing 2 hours on Sunday, but one is pre-recorded. Right, let's see. We'll carry on reading this story. While there is no proof that UFOs are here, the sightings and claims from conspiracy theories can lead to bigger questions. Chris Impey, University Distinguished Professor of Astronomy at University of Arizona, wrote for The Conservation, while UFOs continue to swirl in the popular culture, scientists are trying to answer the big question that is raised by UFOs: are we alone? Astronomers have discovered over 4,000 exoplanets, or planets orbiting other stars, a number that doubles every 2 years. Some of these exoplanets are considered habitable since they are close to Earth's mass and at the right distance from the stars to have water on their surface. How can they possibly tell that? It's like me looking up at those two little dots a friend and I watched cross the night sky and say, oh, well they would appear to be the same distance away as the stars. Therefore, they must be flying around the stars. They have no idea. They base sentences like the exoplanets are considered habitable as they're close to Earth's mass on how much light they're emitting. Of course, you have to make a presumption of how big these objects are, how far away they are. Okay, the Fermi paradox. It is an attempt to answer perhaps the ultimate question: what are extraterrestrials? Good question. I know many people that would say an extraterrestrial is a demonic entity. Of course, if we, I'm sure we're all familiar, well, I don't know if you may not be familiar with the Satanist, I want to say not Jack Crowley, Aleister Crowley, and he claims, I haven't spelled that right, have I? Aleister Crowley claims he raised a spirit. What's the word? Aleister Crowley spirit. And there is a picture, and they look ever so much like the images we see now of what people say aliens look like. I certainly wouldn't ever look too closely at Aleister Crowley. This is the thing. I'm not sure if any of you probably may know about this. Lam is the Tibetan word for way or path, and Lama is he who goeth. The specific title of the gods of Egypt, the trader of the path. Okay, not quite what I was after. I'm sure this is meant to be the demonic entity that Aleister Crowley claims he brought up. Who knows how he did that? There we are, Crowley's Lamb. How he did that is anyone's guess. But apparently it involves blood rituals. Well, not found. Greetings to Old Breck. What a load of rubbish. Absolutely agree. Angels from the sky, they all worship the same religion. Yes, they do. And that religion frequently involves sun worship, Helios, worshipping Helios, god of the sun, Egyptians. One of the first videos I ever made was about obelisks and how in Bath, the area I grew up, Egyptian obelisks is what we actually want. Yeah, there's a path of obelisks in Bath, and they stretch out all the way across. All the way across to. Where's our favourite Wikipedia? It talks about obelisks and who they're actually. Apparently, an obelisk is a symbol for Ra. I'm not sure if I can find the exact the Egyptian obelisk. Kind of going off subject here. Level Earth Observer, greetings. Welcome to my live stream. Glad you could make it. I'm a big fan of Level Earth Observer's YouTube channel. If you guys aren't familiar, I certainly recommend tuning in. Okay, in ancient Egypt, the obelisk symbolized the sun god Ra. It was said to have been a petrified ray of the Aten, the sun disk, but Why is this symbol seen in so many places, including London, Washington DC, and the Vatican, and probably every single city across the United Kingdom? Who was the person who they claim erected all the obelisks in Bath? Bonash? Maybe Bonash, I could be wrong. Ancient Egyptians worshipped the sun. The obelisk represented the sun to the Egyptians. It just goes to show that sun worship, here we are in the Vatican as well. The Vatican worships Baal and Ishtar. Not all the obelisks in the Roman Empire were set up at Rome. The Idumean Herod the Great imitated his Roman patrons and set up a red granite Egyptian obelisk in the Hippodrome in the new city Caesarea in northern Judea. Obelisk monuments are also known from the Assyrian civilization, where they were erected as public monuments that commemorated the achievements of the Assyrian king, i.e. the Black Obelisk of Shalmaneser, the king who took Israel captive. I believe that comes up in the second book of Kings in the Bible. Let's see. Jackie Sharp, how are we all doing financially? Well, good question. Leveler says William of Orange. I'm not too familiar with William of Orange. Right, this has kind of gone off. Just to let, if anyone's followed earlier, this all came from, we looked at a few news stories that suggest aliens are about to invade, or, because someone did ask me in one of my recent live streams, what did I think about the coming alien invasion, or the possibility that there's a fake alien invasion coming. You know, President Reagan is quoted once as saying how quickly the different nations on Earth would unite if we had a common enemy. I think he mentioned aliens, so it'll be interesting to see. Mudlark says the halo around Jesus and Mary probably came from sun worship. Yep, I wouldn't be surprised if well, of course, Mary, although she was mentioned in the Bible, she was never given a status. Well, they say she's Mother of God now in the Roman Catholic Church, something which could only be described as blasphemous in every way. So yes, what do I think? It will be interesting to look out and see how much. I mean, talking about UFOs is nothing particularly new. It's been in the news for as long as I remember. It is a good way of validating the whole fake space idea, that there is stuff out there. But will they really try and convince us one day that they've actually come to Earth? It'll be interesting to see. I know the book of Revelation talks about they talk about a false Messiah come in that gets wounded to the head, or no, I don't want to I don't want to give you misinformation on what the Bible teaches. By all means, read it yourself. I'm just going by memory about people will be convinced that a demonic entity is the second coming because he survives a fatal wound, I believe it is. Yeah, it's a good lesson not to get tricked. Let's see. The Halo, right. Alice Wild asks about, are you watching David Icke? I certainly have not been watching David Icke. As you said, he's a controlled opposition, or he could certainly be used to discredit. I mean, I'm not saying that every word that we hear comes from David Icke is rubbish, because actually he does talk a lot of interest. You know, he talks about a lot of things that I would say, yeah, I agree with that. But it then gets discredited along the way. He's also been on Terry Wogan twice, and anyone that gets on a BBC primetime show not once but twice, you've got to look at with a bit of suspicion. But who knows? Yeah, of course they mix truth with lies. let's see. Mudlark says, I suspect that he is probably controlled opposition, but he seems to predict everything correctly. Didn't he once predict that Australia would be got rid of? I'm curious to see what this is. I'm sure David Icke, while we're on the subject. David Icke, Australia prediction. Jackie says we can still learn from David Icke and we need not be infighting. This is more serious now. Yeah, I mean, if you believe that David Icke is someone that speaks truth, who am I to tell you otherwise? He fills stadiums. It was just when he came out and said that he was, I remember he said some unusual things which could have discredited every word he said from then on. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that he did get right, but is that because he is in the know perhaps? Who knows? Right, on to, what was the other subject I wanted to say? Censorship. I came across this story, and this is something Twitter may be starting, but how much further will it go? Will it be picked up by YouTube? I mean, YouTube already have a good way of suppressing truth, making sure only mainstream narratives get heard. Twitter may start labeling your tweets based on how wrong you are. Now, what's the betting when they say how wrong you are? What they actually mean is how much you disagree with the official narrative. Do you know what? That just reminded me. I meant to put a tweet out on to mention my live stream. So I'm just going to share that, if you bear with me for 30 seconds. Right, and we'll start reading this. I thought this was disgraceful. I mean, who are Twitter to say who is wrong and who isn't wrong? You imagine back when, let's say, Rolf Harris, someone who has been convicted of a crime against minors, okay? You think back before him and Jimmy Savile and Cliff Richard. Oh right, they never exposed Cliff Richard. Hope you enjoyed my live stream. ... on now. You think if you had come out and said anything against the likes of Cliff Richard, sorry, why do I keep saying Cliff Richard? You think if you had come out and said anything against the likes of Rolf Harris and Jimmy Savile, you would have been shut down at the time. And if that was going on now, I mean, right, Twitter is one of the many social media companies that struggles to keep misinformation, whatever that is, from running rampant on its platform over the years. Its latest attempt to move the needle looks to be a tiered warning label system that changes based on how wrong you are, according to app researcher Jane Munchin-Wong. So far, there are 3 levels of misinformation warning levels. Get the latest, stay informed, and misleading, Wong tweeted on Monday. How accurate a tweet is determines if Twitter's system tack on one of these 3 labels, each of which includes a prompt directing users to additional information. Ostensibly, these would link to a Twitter curated page or external vetted source, as is the case for Twitter's BS19 and US presidential election misinformation labels. Here's an example of it, I think. Get the link. Oh, right. There we go. Misleading. Learn more about logical fallacies. We eat turtles, turtles eat, therefore we are turtles. Kind of a bit like saying, oh, what was someone gave me a logical fallacy the other day? I can't remember what I was talking about now. It was something to do with the ISS. Oh, greetings to It's Me Coffee and JT33. Glad you could both join the live stream and pop in the chat. Dean Jones, I also see there, says David Icke is part of the Freemasons. Nick GB, BBC had Icon to ridicule him. Simple. Nick GB, are you a David Icke fan? I mean, of course, people have different views on David Icke. I've got my personal ones. He isn't someone I go to for information, but that's not to say he doesn't spread truth. I mean, yeah, truth. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, they did bring David Icke back to tell him that, hey, David, you were correct, we were wrong. Right, let's see. Alice Wilde's put a link in the chat. Dean Jones. Alice, that link. Alice, I don't want people to waste their time on controlled op. Fair enough. Right, let's see. Wong, who reverse engineers popular apps to uncover features still in development, shared a screenshot of her efforts. I see. Wong is the one who has made these warnings about misleading information. In 12 hours, darkness will ascend in parts of the world. Stay tuned. Stay informed. Learn more about the concept of time zones. Snorted 60 grams of dihydrogen monoxide and I'm not feeling so well now. Get the latest. Get the info about H2O, aka water. Interesting. What's the betting they will let some logical fallacies pass? I mean, let's say NASA put out a tweet saying about, what were they going on about in that story we read earlier about exoplanets? Or did I shut down the page? No, that wasn't it. Oh, I've gone off it now. But they were saying about they're discovering exoplanets left, right, and centre. Yeah, I bet you won't find any misinformation labels on those tweets. Right, O'Breck, have you ever looked into Stephen Hawking, Bobby? Again, I would say our Stephen Hawking is another one like, who else? Who do we have? Neil deGrasse Tyson. The difference with Stephen is he didn't even need to talk. I am aware with Stephen, he had an illness that every other person who had it died within like a couple of years, and he managed to survive for like 25 years with the illness. I know a lot of people believe Stephen Hawking was switched, that perhaps he was at some point a genuine scientist or physicist, astrophysicist, and then at some point he got ill and they said, hang on, we could turn this into a puppet. Let's just get someone sat there, program a computer to say everything we want him to. Right. So yeah, I am aware that Stephen Hawking probably isn't as he appears. ALS, is that the illness he had? Nick GB, I don't believe everything Ike says. Well, no, of course. I mean, you can't put your faith into anyone really, except God, in my opinion. Yeah. There are no heroes. I mean, all humans are fallible. We're all capable of getting things wrong. I've certainly said things on my channel that were no doubt wrong. Scratching my head trying to think of them, but no, I always try and correct myself if ever I'm incorrect. Right, so yeah, look out. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys are on Twitter. I am myself, and it is... you have to be careful what you say. Alice Wilde, Richard Hall convinced me Hawking was replaced. Defo. Interesting. Richard Hall, another great channel. He was one of the people that woke me up. However, yeah, Richard Hall. I've got a lot of respect for the work he does. However, I again don't agree with everything he says. He did a really great investigation into Madeleine McCann, of course. Although the kind of idea you came away with at that point is that Madeleine was possibly, the story about Madeleine McCann wasn't legitimate, wasn't as things appeared. But could it be that the whole situation with Madeleine was just another fake news event? For example, children go missing all the time, really sad to say. So why was so much press focused on that one story? A bit like a couple of months on, or I can't remember how long, we also had the girl, oh, what was her name? Shannon Matthews. I don't know if you remember that story. And apparently the parents were hiding her. But why did that one child get so much news when, if you look at how many people, how many children go missing, how many children go missing each year? Thousands of people go missing every year from the United States each year, and many are never heard from again. According to the National Centre for Missing and Exploited Children, roughly 800,000 children are reported missing each year, and that's in the United States alone. So why did so much attention go to these two stories, like Madeleine McCann and Shannon Matthews? Alice Wilde, yeah, he believes in aliens. I ignore all that stuff. Is that David Icke you're referring to, or Richard Hall? Richard Hall. Mudlight says maybe Stephen Hawking never existed. Maybe it's just a dummy on a wheelchair. Yeah, could be. It's interesting what a authoritative voice he became. I mean, I don't know how many physicists there are out there, but generally the people that get featured heavily are the ones that are unfortunately controlled. That's my thoughts on it, at least. But then, let's say aliens. Who is to say, I mean, could it be said that aliens may be a demonic entity, for example, that we talked about earlier? So, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I've never had an experience of meeting an alien. I don't know if any of you, hang on, bear with me people, right, just read the live chat. Nick GB, I watched the cattle mutilation series Richard Hall did. I enjoyed, but I questioned it now as being bullshit. Alice Wilde says Shannon Matthews was fake to take the heat off the McCanns. But again, are you really sure the McCanns wasn't a fake story? That's the, because again, why did she get so much attention? But yeah, no doubt, it was the story of Madeleine McCann woke me up to the fact that there is no way the press are interested in reporting the truth. And that was the investigation done by Richard Hall. Of course, I don't think he did all the original information. The story I heard, there was someone that lived not far from the McCanns, and they did all the looking into it. He got a lot of heat. I believe he got death threats. So he passed on his research onto Richard Hall, who then presented it in the way he did. Very thorough investigation. JT33 says, I think Helen Keller was used the same way as Hawking, just a puppet. Yeah, it would seem that. What about, I mean, what about the likes in America? SpaceX, for example. What's the guy who runs SpaceX? Elon Musk. Is that just another actor, a puppet? Over in this country, interesting, we're talking about David Icke, because a lot of people would say, well, not a lot of people, there are some that have suggested that David Icke is Richard Branson. Now, for me, this is a really interesting one. I believe we've got videos on it, actually. 1 minute 17 this is. I don't know, this could be a piss take. Should we watch a couple of minutes of this one? It is interesting. David Icke's done videos about Richard Branson. This is Gary Newman. Right, give us 5 seconds. I need to get a drink to well, I need to grab a glass of water. So I'll watch this for like a couple of minutes, and then I'll be back. I'll put myself on mute. Bear with me, people.
Rest. Why is it that he goes from having eyes like that, which are black, but into blue eyes? He's got black eyes there, but they're blue. Blue will not go black. There you go, look at that. Black eyes. Black eyes. But he's got blue eyes. Dark eyes. So what, man? What I'd like to say as I was flipping through the video is that Richard Branson has blue eyes. I'm going to open it up loud, bigger, so that you can see he does not have blue eyes. Just waiting for the page to open up. Don't you think that's crazy, Amy? Hey, hello everybody. Over this last few days when I've been making these videos, people have been asking me to put, they've said it's Richard Branson, Gary Newman.
Okay,
so what I've done is, this first part of the video is their voices.
Right. If you're interested in watching the rest of this, I will put a link to it in the live chat, okay? Bear with me. Where's copy link? Get a link. Maybe I should go onto YouTube. Looks like quite a lot. I mean, what do you guys think? Richard Branson and David Icke could be one and the same. Gary Newman, I can't actually I can't remember who that is, but I'll get a direct link to this person's YouTuber account. Just read the chat a second. Crazy Hippo Lady, hello, welcome to the chat, glad you could join us. Madeleine McCann, very Masonic. Mudlight says, MM like Meghan Markle, yeah, they love their dual names, don't they? O'Breck says, Bill Gates is actor, frontman, yeah, no doubt. Alice Wild, McCann girl, died, yes, Richard says there is a MI5 operation there they needed to keep secret. And O'Breck says, whose video is this? To be honest, it was just something I quickly popped on because it looked like they were going to do something about David Icke and Richard Branson being one and the same. So, if you want to watch it, it is from the channel Samfu, Sun and Moon Family United. I cannot vouch for what's said on this. I have no idea the situation, just something I came across. I do sometimes like to play a video just to give my voice a rest. I mean, as I was saying, I really struggle going for 2 hours. I'm just putting this in the chat. Richard Branson, David Icke video. Yeah, I really struggle to talk for 2 hours, so sometimes I need to just, yeah, that's why I'm doing an hour now, and the rest, and another hour will be done on Sunday evening. Perhaps at some point I'll end up doing 4 half-hour live streams a week. We'll see. I don't know. So yeah, share your thoughts on that. The Helen Keller story is strange. I remember early on also, Jackie Sharp was asking about, who's that person with the husband that's been in hospital for months? We'll have a look at Helen Keller though. Kate Garraway, that's another one. Helen Keller. Wikipedia, everyone's favourite one-click authority. Right, Helen Adams Keller, what a strange middle name. Right, was an American author, disability rights advocate, political advocate, and lecturer. Is this the right person? Born in West Tuscumbia, Alabama, she lost her sight and hearing after about the illness of mine at the age of 19 months. Just to check, are we referring to the right person? Where did the name Helen Keller come up? And Nick GB, you mentioned cattle mutilation series. Again, I'm not... This is the reason why I'm a little suspicious of Richard Hall. He mentions in the past that he worked on Trident nuclear weapons or something. Now that happens to be a subject I'm a little... I mean, of course, you got people working on it, just like you got people working for NASA, you've got people working for JAXA, all the other agencies, you've got people working for all sorts of organisations that put out fake news. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys remember British Home Stores in the United Kingdom. They ended up fleecing their employees of all their pensions. But it'd be unfair to say everyone that works for British Home Stores was in on that scam. So yeah, just because a person works for an organisation or works on a particular project like Trident, it doesn't mean they're not legitimate. But that was something that made me think Richard Hall, I'm a little suspicious. But then it's good to be suspicious of the people that we go to for truth, isn't it? I mean, truth should withstand all scrutiny. Okay, she was born deaf and blind. Well, apparently, JT, she went deaf and blind at 19 months after an illness, right. She then communicated primarily using home signs until the age of 7, when she met her first teacher and lifelong companion, Anne Sullivan, who taught her language, including reading and writing. Sullivan's first lesson involved spelling words on Keller's hand to show her the names of objects around her. She also learned how to speak and to understand other people's speech using the Tadoma method. Do you know, I knew of someone who, in order to understand what you were saying, they used to have to put their hand on your throat, and they could feel your throat. They could tell what words you were saying based on the feeling coming from your throat. Now this person, he was deaf. I don't think he communicated very well. He once was picked up by the police and they started talking to him. This guy goes to put his hand on their throat to see what they're saying. Obviously they think that they're attacking it and that they're about to throttle him, and they battered the guy. Apparently he was black and blue after the police after this. Anyway, whether that's anything to do with the Tadoma method, maybe it is. The method of communication. Right, the Tadoma method is a method of communication used by deafblind individuals in which the deafblind person places their thumb on the speaker's lips and their fingers along the jawline. The middle 3 fingers often fall along the speaker's cheeks, with the little finger picking up on the vibration of the speaker's throat. I believe that is it. Now you imagine going up to a police officer and putting your hand on their face like that. Did she have a link to a subject we mentioned earlier? I cannot remember, my apologies. Mudlark says, hasn't Kate Garraway's husband been in hospital since the beginning of the scandemic? Well, apparently, some people have very vivid memories of Kate Garraway's husband coming out of hospital. And in fact, I'm sure I remember them saying something similar. Alice says, I think Richard is often taken in by shills, unfortunately. Possibly, but aren't we all sometimes? I mean, I'm sure we've all been taken in by shills. I do know a gentleman, I know him fairly well actually, the UK critical thinker, the YouTuber. He handed a lot of information to Richard on the Manchester MEN Arena, and yeah, that I'm pretty sure UK critical thinker, someone who I know is legit. Well, as far as I know, he's as legitimate as they come, and he certainly would say that Richard P. Hall wants to share truth. So fair play to the guy. Right, we're down to... I've only got 15 minutes left. I won't spend too much more time on Helen Keller, but yeah, it does seem like she's got an interesting story. Is she the one then that more or less invented fingerspelling? No, not fingerspelling. Deaf and blind communication, right. Thank you for sharing. Mud like digging up the Thames. She doesn't even have a husband. Let's have a look at this. Kate Garraway. We will have a quick look at her. One thing you've got to say though, her profile has been raised massively since all this came about. Kate Garraway weighs in on Dominic Cummings' explosion. She's basically now, here we go. Do you reckon that picture of her husband in hospital was photoshopped at all? Kate Garraway's admit doctors feared they might kill Derek Draper as he battled BS. Kate Garraway has revealed doctors feared they might kill Derek Draper as he battled the BS virus in hospital last year. By the way, just on this subject, how interesting was this, okay? Tell me this isn't a coincidence. I just want this to finish loading. Of course it's an advert. Right, yesterday I came across this story, but look what it ties in with. Tuesday's zero death milestone fits with downward trend, but release from lockdown will be a political decision. Apparently on Tuesday, this is a significant milestone in the pandemic. No deaths reported by the government in the daily stats for the first time since March 2020. So, by all accounts, perhaps nobody died yesterday at all in the United Kingdom. If they did, you could 50-50 chance they would have tried attaching BS19 to it. More than 100. Right, anyway, so the milestone was that no one died from BS19 yesterday. But at the very same time, what story came out? Where was it? Here we go. First human case of rare bird flu strain reported in China. Are they going to do away with one story and just replace it with another? Do you know what? I remember it was either bird flu or swine flu back about, I would say probably around 2009, 2010. There was an outbreak and I actually went and took the vaccine because of the job I was doing, and it was recommended, and I remember taking that, and that was the last injection from a medical. I never got ill or anything, but back then I was willing to put my faith in the NHS or makers. And not that we're getting on that subject, of course. I'm not talking about Vaseline intensive care. So yeah, on the same day they report zero deaths from BS19. I'm going to shut that tab because my thing's getting a bit overloaded. They mentioned the first human case of a rare strain of bird flu has been reported in China. Always China. Well, again China. Although a 41-year-old man in eastern China has contracted the H1N3, numerology calculator much? Hang on. Let's see. 2Nlit, greetings. Welcome to the live stream. Richard is simply a reporter allowing guest witness to express comment. Do you know what? I agree with you on that. And he's a reporter who actually reports stuff that the mainstream media doesn't go along with. So fair play to him. Right. H1N3. Does that give us anything? 17 in Pythagorean, 14 in Chaldean. Okay, does any other names come up? Oh, they're not actually going to mention the first person in China. What do you think they were eating? What was their diet that caused them to catch it? Chickens, I guess they're going to say. Jiangsu, no. The man from the Jiangsu province of northwest Shanghai was admitted to hospital on April the 28th as in a stable condition. The National Health Commission on its website. Until now, no human cases of Hyoni, it almost looks like that says Hyoni, but anyway, has been reported elsewhere. The infection is an accidental cross-species transmission. The risk of large-scale transmission is low. Bird flu or avian flu is caused by influenza viruses that spread between birds. Right, what do you reckon? Is this the next one? John Macaulay. Let's just see out of interest what his name is on the numerology calculator. We're looking for dual numbers, of course. 33, 22, 44. 44. John Macaulay happens to be a 44 name in Chaldean numerology. So there you go. They always like to get their numbers in one way or another. Right, we've got about 10 minutes left. I am going to start winding down shortly. Alice Wild says about Zionist shill Judy Wood. I'm not too sure. Richard got took in by Linda Moulton Howe after the interview he did with her on the cattle mutilations. Again, that's something that's passed me by. So, yeah, JT33, they were eating bird soup, you reckon? I'm curious to see. It'll be somewhat ridiculous, you know it will. Viruses of H5 or H7 subtype are more worrying if low pathogenic versions can infect poultry and evolve into highly pathogenic strains which cause fetal disease in birds and... Right, okay. We'll see, yeah. So maybe they had sparrow pie, pigeon pie. Of course, pigeons are eaten in this country. Right, we'll go back to Kate Garraway. Kate Garraway, let's see. Should we hear her, what she's got to say? Oh, wow, she's been... Okay, this is a 1-minute video. Let's listen to her, and then I'll be back. I'll mute myself for a minute.
I spent a lot of time reflecting on things that might have been different in lots of ways, both in the government's handling it and in the scientific advice, in the doctor's advice specifically to Derek. And it was definitely confused, wasn't it? So I think hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it doesn't mean to say we shouldn't address what went wrong. So obviously there were things that could have helped. We now...
Sorry, I'm not subjecting you to listen to that. It now appears that Kate Garraway is an official voice. She now has a very valid opinion because supposedly her husband, Derek Draper, there you go with their dual names again. Let's just see what Derek Draper gives us. 40 in Chaldean, 60 in... but you do get the DD, which of course is 44, 2 4s. Kate Garraway. Whatever, vowel or consonant. 50, Pythagorean, 29. Okay, maybe Garraway on its own. 17 and 40. Okay. Yeah, what do we think about Kate? Do we believe she's, someone's in the chat said, I bet she doesn't even have a real husband. Garraway. Let's have a look. Would anyone want to guess if perhaps she isn't quite what she seems? Is there anything that would make you think, look at the state of this. Look at those cold, dead eyes. That looks like someone's put a mirror down the side, actually. There's no way she really looks like that, is there? My goodness. You wouldn't want to run into that down a dark alleyway, would you? Perhaps she does look like that. Wow. Okay, I did have a couple more subjects of things I did want to look at. Did I? Where's my... No, I think I've covered most things. I tell you what, this is the last thing. I was going to... You know, I quite often believe that... well, basically, I'm very suspicious of anyone on television. If they... Right... Channel 4, every morning for the last 20 years or so, they've been showing reruns of Frasier, How I Met Your Mother, what's the other one? The King of Queens, and Everybody Loves Raymond. Right, I switched on Channel 4 the other morning. I know TV's a waste of time, but it's a bit of a coincidence, this person. There was someone in it called... Oh, Kavanagh, Christine. She basically was the voiceover in the Rugrats. I'll show you exactly who she is. Rugrats cast, I should probably go to. Anyway, just out of sheer coincidence, I then came across an article that said they're doing a reboot of Rugrats, and they're making one of the cartoon characters, still directing this at kids, they're in a lesbian relationship basically. And I thought, it's really come full circle now. I mean, whatever people want to do with themselves, fine, but I'm just very surprised now to see that cartoons are actually encouraging. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, this person, Christina Kavanagh, again, CC, I reckon she plays more than one role. She is, I believe, also... this is the last thing I'm going to do before I sign out. Everybody loves Raymond, cast. They were in an episode together, and I'm going to say they are exactly the same person. Okay. Right. Admittedly, they don't look a great deal like each other, maybe. But... yeah, for me, actually, yeah, I remember reading an interview with this Christine Kavanagh person, and she made a comment about it allows her to be other people. I think it was on IMDb. I'll just see if I can find that quote. Alice Wilde says they love multiples of 22. Yes, also 33. I'm sure that it's their own language. Numerology is like a foreign language. Just because we may not necessarily understand it doesn't mean it's not very real. Oops, just gave away my email address there. Right. Where's quotes from her? A personal quote. You know, everybody... Right. I'm sure there was a quote there where she said something about how she's loads of different people... I'm not going to find it now. Maybe. Here we are. I like imitation art. I like animation art, sorry. Oh, get lost. The drawings. And there are lots of people inside of me. I reckon that is a giveaway that she plays multiple roles. Mudlight says, look at the long neck and big throat. That's probably a transgender. Yep. Wouldn't. And again, we were looking at Kate Garraway a minute ago, weren't we? Who am I on here? Yeah, got the same long neck, big throat. These people, over time, they just start looking very strange. Oh, again, I saw a picture of the Queen. How old's the Queen now? 99? Going into a build, going in somewhere. And she walks around like a... Well, she's got the strong frame, not of an elderly person. I don't want to start getting stuck on a new subject like this a minute before I'm going to wind down. Okay, folks, I'm going to call it a day at this. I invite everyone to join me on Sunday evening live stream. I will be... this video will be the first hour, starting from 9 till 10. Then I'll be going live from 10 PM until 11 PM this coming Sunday. I invite everyone to join in. It's much appreciated. Mudlight, you make Kate Garraway. I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah, Kate's got that same long, vile, long neck. Okay, right, I'm going to run down through everyone who has commented in the live chat. Mudlight Digging Up the Thames, Alice Wilde, JT33, 2N Lit, Nick GB, let's see, O'Breck, Crazy Hippo Lady, Nick GB, I've already said, Dean Jones, It's Me Coffee, Jackie Sharp, Have I missed anyone? Level Earth Observer. I don't know if you're still watching us, but if not, I'm going to leave a chat to Level Earth Observer in the live chat because he's a wonderful YouTuber. Oh, we had Andrew Lidgett. I don't know if you're still watching us, but thanks for your comment earlier on. And Jackie Sharp. Right. Level Earth Observer. Well worth checking out on YouTube. Makes some great videos, does regular uploads. And with that, I am going to
Brian Cook's review.
Here is the guy's channel. Do you know what? I see we've got JT33 with us. I might play out on one of his videos. A wonderful musician. Right, Level Earth Observer. By the way, if I didn't read out someone's comment or I didn't acknowledge them and say thanks for saying hello, thanks for being in the live chat, let me know on the bottom and I'll make sure I do. I do apologise. I try and show my appreciation to everyone. Bye, Nick. Hopefully I'll see you Sunday. That'd be great. I'll certainly be there. Alice says, have you seen this song about the jab? Oh, Alice, if you've got a song that we can play out on, we'll go with that. As long as it doesn't get me shut down. Oops, something went wrong. Okay, bear with. I can... Brainwashing at the Extreme. Is that the one? Hang on. Okay, sorry JT33. I hope you do not mind. We'll play one of your vids at the end of Sunday, no doubt, or maybe on the way in. Nick GB, you're correct. He is an awesome channel. Alice Wild shared, because for some reason when I go to a link through my live chat, it doesn't seem to work. It's a bit weird. Just to confirm, Alice, it's the video by PK, I'm guessing. Would that be correct? Alright, folks, I would like to extend my massive appreciation to everyone who's tuned in, everyone that commented in the live stream. It really does help having you guys communicate, having you guys back and forth in with me. Makes it a lot better. Otherwise, it's just me talking to myself. You guys really do make the live stream worth doing. I'll be back Sunday. Oh, Jackie Sharp says, your channel was great until you got people telling us what to think. Jackie, fair enough. I hope we've never had anyone tell you what to think. Are we referring to... I think I know who you might be referring to, Jackie. The way I see it, we've all got an opinion. And we're all entitled to share that opinion, but I do not agree with telling anyone how to think. We all use our own discernment. I'm sorry if you do find that to be the situation, Jackie, but I trust you're intelligent enough to say no. You've got your own mind, you've got your own thoughts. You know what's real and what isn't. With that, I'm going to say goodbye and come back soon. And Jackie, I'm glad you made it. 'Cause I know that you don't always managed to stay up to some of my videos, and Mudluck Digging Up the Thames. I know you've quite often missed my live streams on a Sunday. I massively appreciate everyone joining in. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling now or I'll be going on for another hour. Oh, thanks also to Lady Suda who came in right at the end. Okay, greetings. Just check my audio very quickly. Thanks to everyone who's been taking part in the live chat whilst I've been rerunning my midweek live stream. Apologies for kind of giving you an old stream to start the show with. It's just like I said, I do actually struggle to go on for over a week now. Over an hour. Right, my audio sounds fine. Hello to Michelle from Oz. Michelle from Oz, thanks for joining. Graham, long-time watcher. You may well have commented before, I'm not too sure. Hi to Alice Wild, Add Enough, KG, Crazy World We Live In. Yes, it is. Some Girls, Bob Mule. Let's see, who else have we been chatting with? Jossie White. Thanks to everyone who takes part in the live chat, because it really makes these live streams a little more, well, it's not just me talking to myself then, is it? I hope I haven't missed anyone. If Bob Mule, did I mention you? A couple of names actually that I haven't seen on my channel for a long time. Alice Wild mentions Lilibet Diana Mountbatten-Windsor. Yes, of course. The story of Diana and, sorry, what am I about? The story of Meghan and Harry's new latest doll has just been announced a couple of hours ago. So what a great time for me to be doing a live stream. I did think actually when I saw the date, 6th of the 6th, dual number of course, will there be any big fake news stories? But check out that person. Who is that meant to be? I don't know what this video is about, to be honest. But is it just me that thinks that is a dead ringer for a particular... It couldn't be. They wouldn't actually be... Right, does anyone else see what I see? Do you want to watch this load of rubbish for a couple of minutes? We've also been talking in the live chat and on that previous video that we played about Richard Hall. People have got mixed views on the guys. It does seem whenever a YouTuber becomes big, they're automatically come under suspicion. Now, I myself have raised some questions about the guy. I mean, Trident nuclear weapons, for example, one of the biggest cons on the taxpayer since what's going on now, or, you know, and the guy says he works on nuclear Trident weapons, so I don't know, but as I said on that live stream, of course, people work in all sorts of organisations. It doesn't mean they're fake. It doesn't mean everyone that works for NASA, for example, are fibbers. Anyway, does anyone else see it? Some girls, Philippa Mountbatten. Now, of course, we have not seen any pictures that I'm aware of yet about of the doll, but once we do, I can be pretty sure some girls who's in the live chat will make some videos on them. I will certainly try doing it. Of course, when we first saw Louis announced, he was dead still. He didn't move a muscle.
Meghan Markle have welcomed their second child, a baby girl.
Yeah, I don't really care
Their
about
little one joins big brother Archie, who turned 2 on May 6th. The couple announced in February that she was expecting, telling us...
Yeah, it seems very quick, actually. I was really surprised to see that she'd given birth already. I'm more interested in this person. Does anyone else think that's a dead ringer for Meghan? I mean, who is the reporter? Does anyone recognise her? It isn't that one from, the one that they were suggesting was Meghan's body double and they borrowed the children and stuff. Right, KG says, I thought they were throwing the monarchy under the bus. Hard to say. Every so often, the press turn on the monarchy and then they seem to get back in their favour again. It's hard to know what way they go. I think they want half the population hating the royals and the other half being best, loving them. I think it's just a good way of keeping us squabbling with each other when really we should be diverting our dissatisfaction higher up. Some girls cannot load right now. Well, I hope that's not the case with all of you. Yes, we are still going. Let me just leave you a message. Yes, we are. Some girls. Hit refresh. That's my advice. Right, we're gonna watch this.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have welcomed their second child, a baby girl.
Christina Garibaldi. Yeah, Garibaldi, yeah, I bet. Anyway, US Weekly Correspondent. It isn't, is it? I don't know. Wouldn't that be typical, though, that... Yeah, right, let's watch this rubbish.
Their little one joins big brother Archie, who turned 2 on May 6th. The couple announced in February that she was expecting, telling us, we can confirm that Archie is going to be a big brother. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex are overjoyed to be expecting their second child.
To go.
Now, a source recently told Us Weekly that this pregnancy has been much easier for Meghan this time around. A source told us this pregnancy has been much better than the last for Meghan, especially in terms of less morning sickness. As for cravings, Meghan had been eating super clean despite yearning for pasta and ate all organic fruits. She was staying active by doing yoga every day, sometimes twice a day.
We've got our family, we've got, you know, the four.
Complete rubbish, of course, all this stuff they're coming out with. There's only another half a minute of it or so. KG says the old divide and conquer. Yeah, of course. They seem to have that. Interesting something Addy Nuff is saying. He's observing people that apply Vaseline intensive care to their cracked lips versus those that don't. 2 having a kidney test. 1 went to hospital dizzy. 2 couldn't sleep. Interesting you mentioned the couldn't sleep thing. I do know someone that's been affected with insomnia, actually. And 2 throwing up. Wow. If you want an observation of someone that hasn't taken it, doesn't apply Vaseline to their cracked lips, then yeah, I've been absolutely healthy throughout. Strange, actually. Although back in the start of 2020, I don't often get colds, but I did get 2 colds very close together. One of them was pretty bad, and that's it. I've been healthy ever since. Very strange. Anyway, yes, I do have a habit of being distracted by my live chat, so I'm not going to spend too long on this, because until we see some pictures, who cares, eh? I did look on Instagram for any pictures of a baby clutching fingers. Of course, they'll release that picture soon, or it'll be the feet.
4 of us and our 2 dogs, and
Done.
Right, I remember someone made quite a good joke about this picture of Meghan in that dress, saying, darn seagulls, because it looks like she had seagulls messing all over her.
And what about Big Brother Archie? Well, Harry and Meghan were said to be a bit nervous about the transition from 1 child to 2, and were doing their best to give Archie all the attention he could handle right now, as he eagerly awaited the arrival of his baby sister.
Well, when it's a CGI animated doll, then I don't think you have to worry about giving it too much attention. Just keep it in the cupboard.
In November 2020, Meghan opened up about suffering a miscarriage that past July before she became pregnant with her baby girl. She wrote in the New York Times, "We have learned that when people ask how any of us are doing, and when they really listen to the answer with an open heart and mind, the load of grief often becomes lighter for all of us. In being invited to share our pain together, we take the first steps towards."
Okay, apologies for making you people sit through that rubbish. Yeah, I'll be looking out for the picture. Add enough, I'm glad to hear that. Right, talking about, again, of course, it's the 6th of the 6th, although apparently it was born 2 days ago. It's interesting, it sounded like they kept her in hospital on this time, although I don't know if you remember the first one. Apparently she went in hospital in the middle of the night and was out at home again the next morning with the new baby. I mean, come on, get real. Let's see where we go, and there's nothing in here that's particularly of interest. The new baby is the Queen's 11th grandchild and is not permitted to be a princess nor an HRH because of rules set down more than 100 years ago by George V. Was that the one who had trouble speaking, George V? She'll be entitled to be a princess when Charles becomes king. Lily was born on the 4th of June 1140 at the trusted care of doctors and staff at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital. Okay, I'm just looking for any dual numbers. We got ones come up twice. 11 and 11. 4 and 4. I mean, who knows? By the way, I will go back to a previous comment from Graham, Graham. He mentioned, is Level Earth Observer more sane than Russian vids? I'm a big fan of Russian vids. I think he's spot on with a lot of his videos, personally. Of course, we've all got our own views on that. Now, there was something I wanted to ask. New babies, when they're first born, how is their hand movement ability? Of course, if you watch a video of Oh, let me think. Kate and William. Kate and William show baby. I have made videos before saying that the hand movements basically look very mechanical. In fact, I could probably find do any, hang on, royal baby hand movements. I can't remember what it's called, the video. Royal baby hand movements. Of course, they're not going to put my video anywhere near the top, are they? Can't even remember what I called the video now. But, there we go. Right, we'll watch this a minute. This is where I asked what can be done to a doll with some basic animatronics, using basically animating the fingers. And if you watch these two babies together, right now, is a newborn baby even capable of stretching out its hands like this? But yeah, you watch those babies, they both sort of do the same thing. I know you guys may not agree when right, I was going to talk, I remember at the beginning of this video back at 9:30 I said we were going to be looking at the 3 stages of truth. One of the first stages is ridicule, and of course you make a video saying Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis or Willie, whatever they called their babies, animated dolls, and it will get ridiculed. But look at that one. Anyway, yeah, so if anyone knows, yeah, Michelle from Oz say their arms jerk quite a lot and their hands usually stay fisted. That is what I thought. I did believe. There's one of the cats. Charlie, is he around? No, he's gone out actually. He always causes havoc, but a lovely little fella. Anyway, going off subject. Right, Addie Nuff says they're good at gripping and can flap a bit. Okay. Jossie White, has the Magnut produced another doll? Yes, she has, Jossie. It was only announced 2 hours ago, or 3 hours ago now. But apparently he gave birth on the 4th of the 6th. But of course they waited till the 6th of the 6th. Jossie White, it's like the Satanists, they tell us what they're going to do. We've been too far asleep to see what they're doing. They have to tell us. Imagine being that evil. Very true. Yeah, they do always seem to reveal their nonsense. Now another person going on about babies again, and again a horrible story. Another person I've made videos about is a Z-list celebrity in Britain, Ashley Kane, and his partner Safia Varnon. Basically they've had this GoFundMe thing open to save their child, and as I've pointed out hundreds of times now, help us save Azalea's life. Well, let's say they're not lying about anything. They are. They have to take this down now, because according to the official narrative, that baby's deceased. They're not going to save its life, meaning the £1.641 million they just raised all has to go back to the donators, because you cannot misappropriate money done on a fundraiser. Anyway, at the funeral, do you think this actor, I mean look, this is at the baby's funeral, they look absolutely devastated, don't they? Do you think he could get up and give a eulogy, give a talk about his child without a big smile on his face? How long until the duping delight crept in? Bear one thing in mind, okay? If you weren't convinced by some of the slight, I mean, to be fair, the pictures do look quite legit. I know I've gone over these people hundreds of times. If you're not convinced by all their big smiles, by the fact that they're basically whoring out their sick child to raise their profile, if you're not convinced that during a period of time where this baby supposedly had 16 doses of chemotherapy in like 11 weeks, that pretty much every day they came in, dressed it up in a new costume just to take pictures for Instagram, if you're still not convinced that when, look at that, how can you not, can anyone not see that that's a doll? Like we said about the 3 stages of truth, I get ridiculed for saying that this is a doll. I get told I'm sick. But goodness me, I've seen Cabbage Patch Kids look more realistic than this. Okay, looks quite real there, but bear one thing in mind. This person, apparently his brother gave birth, also had a daughter like 3 days earlier. So if ever they do need a real baby, did need a real baby to put into the story, I'm sure his brother would have lent him his one. Anyway, so how long could this man get up during the tribute to his recently dead baby and manage not to look too happy? Let's have a look. To be honest, would you even put this on Instagram? Right, the toughest speech of my life. Let's have a look at this guy's face and see if it really looks like the toughest speech of his life. These people make me so annoyed. I hate how they do this. How desperate human beings must these people be to take part in such a fabrication? Anyway, how long can he manage not to smile? Oh, there we go. He's already laughing. 7 seconds into the video and he's laughing. Yeah, you look devastated, my friend. Come on. At least try and look sad. Wow. No, can't do it. You couldn't even manage 20 seconds of looking sad. These people are disgraceful. Right, KJ, looks like my cat, Boo. Well, we call that cat, I've probably told you 100 times about it. We call him Charlie. He turned up out of nowhere. I'm not sure why we called him Charlie. It was because we weren't sure if it was a boy or a girl, so we went for a gender-neutral name. Charlie could have been Charlotte, could have been Charles. We've since found out, we're pretty 100% sure it's a boy. So he's now Charlie. We don't know where he came from. He just turned up at our back door one day, staring in, demanding we feed him. A very confident cat. He causes absolute havoc, but yeah, he's always but he's won a place in our hearts. Enough, Alice, yeah. Instagram is full of nonsensical stories. Look at that. What a nice way to hold your newborn baby. I wonder how old that's meant to be. What a bunch of frauds. I mean, that to me, again, just looks very poor quality. Michelle from Oz, you're sick of being taken for a fool by these people. Exactly. Well, I don't believe a word they say anymore. Right. Tommy Mallet. That baby's barely, let's see. Again, I got I got ridiculed for suggesting that 23-day-old babies shouldn't be able to hold their own heads up. I'm not sure how old this baby's meant to be. Let's see. You can be a kind person with a good heart and still turn. Right. There it is, holding its own head up. Tommy Mallet. I wonder if that's his son. Does anyone remember Timmy Mallet? Let's see. Obsessed. He's so beautiful. Yeah, there we go. And of course, you bring a photographer into the maternity ward with you, don't you? Meet Brody Foran, £8.9. He was born on the 5th of the 5th. Okay, so he's just over a month old now. Tommy Mallet, I reckon he's... Anyway, just another fake pregnancy in my book. Georgia Casalulu. That's the mother. Let's see if there's anything suspect about this person. Right, how long until they promote their own products in this Instagram feed? How far do we have to look? Let's see. There we go. Here we are, straight away. Third post. For all you baby boy and that wrapped coming soon, we can't wait for you, blah blah blah. Event coordinated by the Best Day Events. Teddy Bears, Bunting Stationery by Chloe Designs. Picnic Styling by TP Dreams. Cake Sweet Treats by Cakes. All these people are all these Instagram accounts are just money making businesses. They're all organised. I bet there's a whole team of people behind it. They want to make it look as Towie. What a load of crap. They want to make it look as legitimate as they can. But I don't know why people would put pictures of their children on a public Instagram account like this. One day ago, who knows, perhaps they squeeze in real babies here and there. Perhaps they just got really good CGI pictures. Right, I'm not going to talk about fake babies all night. I've made enough pictures on videos on them. I do have another half an hour to go, and let's see. I know we've had a couple of links shared. Some girls normalizing this is part of the book The Naked Communist. Mentioned a link. I might check that out in a minute. We could also check out what is any other events. Oh, I noticed that in the chat someone said they were next door neighbours with a ex-Emmerdale Farm actor. I'd be really kind of curious to know more about that, actually. Right, broken NHS staff terrified about June 21st lockdown being lifted. Yeah, here in the UK, if you're not from the UK, apparently on the 21st, all restrictions will be lifted. We'll see. They keep coming up with reasons why that shouldn't happen. I don't want to cover this subject too much, but I mean, I think talking about lockdowns different to talking about people that apply Vaseline to their lips. I would be very surprised. KG, gotta be some bad karma coming to these folks. You would certainly hope so. We will see. Right, apparently NHS staff have heard Boris Johnson to proceed cautiously with easing restrictions ahead of the proposed 21st of June unlocking, warning the health service and frontline workers in particular have been broken by the pandemic and are close to burnout. Could always give them a pay rise, I guess. Oh, numbers. They love their numbers, don't they? Do we really want to watch a program about numbers? Just see if any of their favourite dual numbers come up. How long it takes to see a dual number. 2932, okay. 45, yeah, they got in a 233. I'm not sure if oh no, it's 223 is their favourite number. Is a big number. For those not massively familiar with numerology, then check it out. I mean, like I said, someone mentioned the sanity of Russian vids, but he's one of the people that opened my eyes up to numerology. 33, they love the number 33. And any dual numbers, to be honest. Any other dual numbers? Okay, 14. 27, 2 times 7, 14. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, 288 again. They got an 88 in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know half of the half of it with the numbers. There are some people that cover it really well. I do have a numerology calculator which tells me about which explains Chaldean and Pythagorean numerology, so you can put a name in or a word and see what the numerical value is. And they do definitely use it in the news. I have no doubt about that. I say it's like a foreign language. Let's see. Michelle from Oz. New Zealand is introducing self-ID for men who identify as trans. So goodbye women. Self-ID. I'm not massively familiar with what that means. Add enough. I weren't next. Oh, you weren't next door to him. Sorry, gotcha. He's very nice, but he has a big I am ego. Addy, are you prepared to reveal who it is, or at least maybe when they were on the show, how recent they were? CC Jelly, greetings and welcome to the live stream. Always good to hear from you, another regular viewer. Good to hear from all of you, of course. So, I mean, how cautious can these people be? To be honest, if you go out now, things are more or less back to normal. There are still obviously people wandering around. But yeah, I mean, if it were not for the news and all their stuff, you wouldn't necessarily know anything was even going on. Please search for man who shot Dunkin' Donuts store manager. Oh, we've got the fixed football European Cup starting soon. I used to really quite enjoy football. I was a big fan of Liverpool, goes back to my childhood. I remember one of the neighbours said, "Oh, it's the FA Cup final today." Didn't have a clue what the FA Cup was, sat us down. It was Liverpool against Everton. Liverpool wore red, Everton wore blue. And after that, because Liverpool won it, I was a fan of theirs for a good few years. And now I don't know all of it, but so much of football is now, it's fixed. No two ways about that. I mean, high-profile football, Premier League, World Cup, European Cup. Okay. Right. Yeah, it doesn't look like too much in the news. I mean, right, Michel says, all a man has to do is declare he's a woman and has legal access to all women's spaces. Yep, I remember you mentioning that in the past. Things have definitely gone a bit, well, things have gone crazy with that, haven't it? It would be a very worrying time, I think, if... I mean, apparently in this country, I'm not sure what kind of rights it gives people. I've heard of a prisoner that was a male, he transitioned, if there was such a thing, and wanted and demanded to be moved to a women's prison or something. I don't know what happened with that. Could have a look, actually. Trans man wants women's prison. I don't know if that search term will do anything. Here we go. I don't know what country this is from. It could be from anywhere. Right, 255 transgender inmates request transfer to women's prisons after California passes new law. For those who are wondering how the Democrats' Equality Act... Sorry, Michelle, I know you were talking about New Zealand and this is the United States, but by the looks of it, it's going on everywhere. For those who are wondering how the Democrats' Equality Act requiring people to be treated according to their gender identity, whatever that means, will operate if passed, we're getting some foreshadowing from California. On the 1st of January, a law went into effect holding that state prisoners must be housed in a facility consistent with their gender identity, regardless of their anatomy. To date, 261 prisoners, 255 of them biological men, have asked to be relocated. The reason behind the law wasn't just the usual woke madness of treating transgenderism as if it's not a sad case of body dysmorphia, but is instead a magical change in sex. Instead, there was a humane goal. Men who identify as women when placed in all-male prisons are extremely vulnerable to prison rape. One man in Australia claimed that he was raped over 2,000 times, which, if true, is appalling. Of course it is. However, when you place so-called transgender men in women's prison, there's also a rape problem, with the men, many of whom claim to be lesbians, raping women unlucky to find themselves in the same cell ward. Yeah, I'm not sure what website it says, WashingtonWatch.org. Sounds like it could be considered right-wing, so, yes. Any headlines written by me is the opinion of that publication. The United Kingdom Ministry of Justice has revealed that inmates who identify as transgender are responsible for a rate of sexual attacks that is exponentially higher than their proportion of the population of women's jails. It's a crazy world, isn't it? Michelle from Oz, you have many men in the women's estate. Yes, I wouldn't doubt that. KG visited Georgia and live in Iowa. Nobody's wearing masks or distancing. Very few zombies. It's hard to say what the situation with that is. In shops, definitely still heavily, masked up. People are. They don't seem to be letting up on that, but out on the streets, it's very few and far between. You do see some people. In fact, I saw, it was a family member I saw. Couldn't believe what I saw. They were out and about, not wearing their mask, got a phone call, and they put a mask on to speak on the phone. Didn't make sense to me. Could not understand it. Michelle says, your prison service admitted that 48% of them have previous convictions for sexual attacks against women. Yeah, I mean, another horrible story I read about. What was it? The drag queen story time. Something that goes on, and apparently some of the people taking part, back when they were male or whatever, if I just put drag queen conviction, right, here we go. Here's a horrible story. I mean, it's not necessarily any worse just because they're a drag queen, but it does sort of, I mean, this is a very un-PC kind of point of view, but I mean, there are those that believe that when a person, I mean, if people want to dress up in, I mean, a man wants to dress up as a woman, for example, ultimately it's up to them, but there are those that believe that it can be spiritually very damaging. I mean, it wasn't for no reason that the book of Exodus clearly tells us that men shouldn't wear that which pertains to a woman, and vice versa. Right. Austin, Texas. Want to see a sweet, quiet town ripped asunder. Want to see a place anyone would want to live. What is this about? Oops, what am I reading? Maybe it's a video then. That just looks... Okay, right. Okay, want to see a place anyone would want to live in, an open small business doxed and divided, then watch the American Library Association and its Antifa army wage war on towns, cities across the country as it hoists its sneaky child grooming campaign of drag queen story hours on the unsuspecting. These are the sentiments from Tracy Shannon, head of Texas Mass Resistance, and speaking of Church Militant Friday about the latest news on Drag Queen Story Hour. One new detail emerging from the middle of the skirmish, thanks to the research of Mass Resistance, is the discovery that yet another drag queen, making 3 and counting, has been exposed as one convicted of a sex crime. The Austin-based drag queen, who goes under the alias Mrs. Kitty Litter, sounds about right, and who has been interacting with and reading stories to children in a local Austin library over the past year, has been discovered to have been convicted of male prostitution. Okay. David Lee Richardson was arrested and convicted of offering sex for money in '96. Alright, that's not quite what I thought it was going to be. Richardson hosted perverse jokes and allusions to prostitute on social media, which strongly suggests he has no qualms about the sex trade. Some posts suggest that he has not left the prostitution trade at all. Yeah, I mean, if it was a non-cross-dressing prostitute, you wouldn't let him come and read to children, would you? One Houston man, William Travis Dees, aka Lisa Lott, who was incarcerated and listed as a high-risk sex offender in 2004 after he abused multiple children aged 4, 5, 6 and 8. Dees is part of the Space City Sisters, a group that dresses up as nuns. According to its website, the Space City Sisters represent a local chapter of the National Organisation of Cross-Dressing Homosexual Men called the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. What a horrible name. They dress as parodies of Catholic nuns and mock Catholicism. They now also do DQSH readings. Don't even know what that means. It is crazy. Odd enough, kitty litter, yeah, exactly. And it's curious how anyone that would dare to speak out about such a thing would be considered a homophobe. I mean, look at this. Opposing groups speak at Austin City Hall on Drag Queen Storytime event. Misha, woman's face. Alice Ward, they're still male. Of course they are. I mean, you could give a man all the hormones in the world. You could cut off any part of his body. You could attach any part of body that you want. It doesn't mean that they become a female. And they also make this big deal about your gender is what you identify as in your head, not what you're born with. Then why bother cutting up your body? Doesn't make sense. Right, a Houston library has had to apologise after it was discovered that one of the hosts of Drag Queen Storytime programmes, a registered child sex offender, Alberto Garza, aka Titania Malanina, was convicted of sexually assaulting an 8-year-old boy in 2008. Wow. Gross. Houston library officials acknowledged in a statement in March that Garza has a criminal background that should have prevented him from participating in the Drag Queen Storytime programme, in which drag queens read books at the Fried Montrose Library. They say, we assure you that this participant will not be involved in any future programmes. How about ditch the programme altogether? We deeply regret this oversight and the concern this may cause our customers. We realise this is a serious matter. At this point, wouldn't you say, right, this whole reading's been so strongly discredited that we cannot justify keeping it going? Predators are laughing all the way to the bank. Mass Resistance is a pro-family activist group that provides information and guidance in order to confront assaults on the traditional family. School children and moral foundation of society is based in Massachusetts. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, the first person they mentioned was, who was that I just saw? About being a male prostitute. Now, obviously, a lot of people that end up getting into prostitution are victims, and they probably have a really hard life, and I doubt many people would go that route through choice. So we have to keep it in perspective, but yeah. I wondered if there was any others. Right, KG, grown people do what you do, but leave kids out of it. Exactly. I remember going into a... well, Michelle from Oz says it's all grooming. I remember going into a doctor's surgery, a local doctor's surgery, and it had a poster up saying for people under 15 or under 13 that have questions about their, who trouble identifying or have basically gender issues, please come to our workshop. This was obviously a good few years back when people were allowed in doctor surgeries. I'm not sure what the situation is now. I don't go anywhere near them. But I thought, how can a doctor's surgery really be trying to recruit under 13s? I'm sure it was either under 15s or under 13s, asking these people to come to their workshop on gender identity, basically trying to recruit people they could give hormone tablets to, is the way I looked at it. Michelle, thank you for the link. I will attempt to open it. Bear with me. It's on a go slow. Oh, I hope YouTube is streaming properly, because I've got YouTube is not retrieving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Let me try and shut a few things down. That can go. Okay, that might help. Right, where were we? Okay. Yeah, I do notice if I try and open a link direct from the live chat, this tends to happen. But I don't know why. Oh no, it worked this time. Weird. Let's see. This is the link shared by Michelle from Oz. Number of female pedophiles nearly doubles in 4 years. Warning over 2297. I will just point out they've got their favourite number in, or one of their favourite numbers. Get that advert out of the way. Cases of abused children's lack of understanding means women are less likely to be reported for crimes. No, I wouldn't for a second doubt that women do that sort of thing. But I wonder if any of this number is men that have now transitioned to women. Not to say that it's only men, because it isn't, but... Right, there were at least 2297 reported cases of children being abused by women over a 4-year period. The figure marks 84% increase in female perpetrated child sex abuse. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Not that I trust much the Mail on the Daily Fail report. But yeah, I agree. CC Jelly, doctors will be suffering burnout with all these gender workshops in the surgery. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's insane. Of course, if a doctor's surgery can get kids onto hormone treatment, they can refer them to like psychologists, psychiatrists, or whoever it is. It's big business, isn't it? All at the taxpayers' expense. Yeah, thank you for sharing that link, Michelle. It's a horrible story by the look of it. It does appear, and I think it's true actually, to say that whenever you hear about women in this situation, I mean, for example, teachers that have relationships with pupils, a male teacher would always be demonized a lot more than a female teacher would. Okay, Michelle, I will indeed scroll down. I remember that story. That was, yeah, this is to do with a musician, I seem to remember. No, it wasn't. It was a different one, wasn't it? There was a musician that apparently convinced his parents to, Vanessa George, 49. I do remember this story. It was a high-profile case. 49 is seen in a police mugshot, was dubbed Britain's worst female paedophile after sexually assaulting up to 64 children as young as 2 at a nursery. Just out of interest, Michelle, does it specifically say that she was born male, or are we just going on the picture? But yeah, oh wow, yeah, I see where you're coming from. Yes, I do actually remember this story. It turned out there was a ring of some sort going on. A police operation investigating her crimes uncovered a ring involving several other women. Angela Allen, there's that dual name again, AA, was also convicted of sex abuse after police investigated George's case. Of course, the name George. Found that women had exchanged sick images online with IT co-worker Colin Blanchard. Police discovered depraved Allen had not only shared images but had also raped a 3-year-old girl. Ugh. This is vile. Is there any more pictures? Christine Callahan, what we've seen. Oh, didn't mean to see that. C. Okay. Bob Muir's absolutely sick. The world is run by psychopaths. Yes, absolutely. In my midweek live stream, of course, we did look at Aleister Crowley. Now, apparently some of his written work was involved in... It was talking about how they would raise spirits, and by all accounts, it would involve children, and yeah, it's horrible no matter what. Are these the only images we've seen? Oops. She, right, get this right, that's one I just saw by accident. She, look at that, gave birth to quadruplets. Then doctors saw the faces and immediately called the authorities. Right, it'll be one of those stories where you have to click next about 100 times before you actually read what the story is, but really, she? What do you reckon, another fake news story? By the way, Michelle, thank you for Some Girls says confusing sexuality and worshipping ugliness is part of the 45 goals of communism. Book in 1962 called The Naked Communist. You did actually share a link to that, so perhaps we will have a look. I will be finishing up in about the next 10 minutes. I do have quite an interesting video to play us out with. It's from a YouTube channel. I will leave the link in the live chat, and at the end I'll put it in the description. It goes back to the whole UFO invasion, but before we do play that, which will be played at 11:30, just want to see what this story is, because again, really, she, inverted commas, gave birth to quads? I highly doubt that. When a woman is pregnant, she tends to think of anything and everything. Her mind is always racing. She is constantly asking herself questions about pregnancy, what she wear, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it'll be one of these things where you have to keep clicking next 100 times. So, look, absolute crud. Right, we can have a quick look at the link Some Girls shared. If I can find it, bear with me, folks. Let me see. By the way, if any of my viewers want a wrench to in order to share links, you are most welcome. Just let me know. Here we go. Here was, right, will I be able to... Right. Oh, out of interest, before we finish, I would be curious for any... Hang on, that's the wrong link, wasn't it? My apologies. Yeah, I would be curious for anyone wanting to share feedback on what they thought of... Open a new link, right. On what they thought of my new setup, doing 1 hour of my previous live stream, followed by another hour of actual live. Is everyone happy with that kind of setup? Does anyone think it's a bit of a rip-off? Should I just do an hour and leave it at that? Right, The Naked Communist is a 1958 book by the American faith-based politician theorist W. Clowen Skousen, a former FBI employee. The book's been reprinted 17 times. The main subject of the book is an alleged communist plot to overcome and control all the world's governments through the implementation of social progressivism, and by undermining American foreign policy through the promotion of internationalism and pacifism. The early chapters of the book cover the philosophy of Marxists and Soviet communists, as well as some of the history of communist power in various countries. The book's been highly discussed by American conservatives Glenn Beck and Ben Carson, the latter of whom stated Naked Communist lays out the whole progressive plan. It is unbelievable how fast it has been achieved. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Some Girls. Yeah, I understand that's just Wikipedia. I guess it's a book you've read, is it? Bob Mule, thank you. Of course, just going back to my setup of an hour pre-recorded. I guess I'm doing it on... my midweek live stream is done at a different time of day. It's done with and I assume it's a different day, so I assume I get different audiences. Now, what I will do in midweek, it might be Thursday when I do my midweek live stream. I will let you know. I will give you a bit of notice. I'll probably play an hour of this one, followed by an hour. I'll see how it goes, or maybe I'll just do an hour in midweek. We'll see. I will say actually next week will be open lines. I will be opening up the phone line. Well, not the phone lines, but basically anyone that wishes to join the live stream and come on and have a chat for a few minutes, get anything off their chest, ask questions, make comments. I would invite that. Do you know what? I did let the people. Obviously, I said a little while ago I got hit by a load of Jake Quickenden's admirers, fans, and I said to him, if any of you want to come on and talk to me about, ask me questions, because I had someone here asking me, look, this was in regards to a tweet where someone said that I was absolutely deranged for saying that Jake Quickenden faked his pregnancy, and someone came out and asked me why though. Anyway, I said to these people, look, I do an open lines show every other Sunday. If any of you want to come on and ask me any questions, you're welcome. Do you think any of them came on? Nope. Again, I was going to cover this more in like the 3 stages of truth. The first being ridicule, the second being vehemently opposition, the third being accepted as self-evident. And I believe my videos, this is just, it seems to be any truth that's out there, they try and disguise it by attacking it with first ridicule. Anyway, some girls, I listened to the 45 goals they laid out on a podcast. I'll send you a link via Twitter. Thank you, some girls. Do you remember, wasn't it back in like the 60s or 50s, back when John Wayne was big? Didn't he make a video about communism in Hollywood or something? They were all trying to push communism. Of course, not that John Wayne wasn't one of them. But yeah, I'm not something I'm particularly well versed in communism. I have no idea too much about it. Michel from Oz, it's like the fall of the Roman Empire. Possibly, although did the Roman Empire ever really fall? Or are they just... Yeah, again, that's a big subject. Right, I do have what I consider a really interesting video to play us out with over the next 10 minutes. It is from the channel... Bear with me. It is from the YouTube channel... let me just think. I've got a link to it. The video is called Final Card. You may have come across it. Oh, I will put a link. This is a link to the original channel that uploaded it was Grace and Truth Fellowship. So I'm going to put a link in the live chat now if anyone wants to check them out at the end of it. Right, this is going on about basically this is 10 minutes, the actual video goes on for 45 minutes. I'm not playing it all, although I may mirror this video one day, because I've asked the person that uploaded the video, I've said, are you happy for me to play 10 minutes of it on my live stream? And he says, share away. He said, let your audience know, anyone that wishes to share it and upload it to their own channel, go ahead. It's called Final Card. It is to do with the whole possibility of a fake alien invasion. If you want a link to the original channel, to the actual whole video, you can watch it here. Right, some girls, I'm having a major... major allergic reaction to bug bites that I got last night. 2-inch welts all over my body. I have to go. No problem. I do hope you can make it next Sunday. You've been a regular on my open lines over the last month. You're always welcome to join in. Yeah, I echo KG's sentiments. I hope you feel better soon. Take care, some girls, if you're on your way. Right, I do like to run down and say thanks to everyone who has tuned in. Bob Mule, I'll say a special thanks to you, as I think you were one of the first people to comment on this video. Right, bear with me a minute. I'm just gonna. You were one of the first people to comment, and I remember you were on my. You were commenting on my videos years ago, and then I didn't see you again for a long time. So it's good to have you back. There was another person, again, who I hadn't seen for a while. So it wasn't. Yeah, it was Bob Mule and someone else. But anyway, it's great to see familiar names I haven't seen for a while. And then we've had someone, Graham, KG. There's been a couple of new names pop up tonight, and that's always good to see. So I'm going to go down. Yeah, some girls, you take care, and I hope you're back next. I hope you can join us next Sunday night if you're able to join in on the Open Lines episode. You're always welcome. So a huge thank you to Bob Mule, Some Girls, Alice Wild, KG, Michelle from Oz, CC Jelly. Did we see Crazy Hippo Lady tonight? I'm not sure. Jossie White. JT33, greetings. Sorry, I didn't read your comment earlier. They don't want to contaminate their phones with... Yeah, that was a very strange one, what I was saying about the person. Yeah, you could be right, but I've never seen that before. People putting masks on to talk on the phone. I was like, my goodness, what's going on here? Right, Alice Wild, if I haven't already mentioned you. I probably do mention some people more than once in my little rundown saying thanks. But yeah, JT33, sorry for missing your comment earlier. I do try and read everyone's. Graham, thanks for joining in the chat. KG, I've said you. Bob Mule, I think I've covered everyone. If there's anyone who has popped up and spoke that I haven't mentioned, then forgive me. Put a comment in at the bottom to say goodbye, and I'll make sure I acknowledge you. I do have massive appreciation for everyone who... oh, Gene Cam, that was the other name. Thank you for joining in. I hope you're still with us watching. Let me know. You actually mentioned they're preparing us for an alien attack. Maybe they'll do a fake one first. Well, this video we're about to watch touches on the subject. Like I said, I think it's 45 minutes, the overall video. I'm just going to play out with a 10-minute preview. Bob Mule, the sheep are going to mess their pants if they pull the alien invasion. Well, yeah, I would have said, a couple of years ago, I would have said, will people really fall for it? But seeing what people have fallen for over the last 18 months, of course they will. If the mainstream media tells them so, they will. Okay, Adinath. Right, oh, I just read Adinath's comment. Okay, I will be back midweek, probably Wednesday or Thursday. It'll be in like the daytime, my time, you know, it'll be earlier than this. I'm not sure exactly the day, but I will schedule it in advance, and I hope you can tune in. If not, you can catch the first hour next week. I will try and start a little bit earlier, probably 9 PM, and then I can go from 10 to 11. And if I get many people, of course, Michelle from Oz, you've tuned in on you've taken part in my open lines. Always good to hear. I would much appreciate more people tuning in. I have actually thought, if I revealed my Skype handle, my Skype username, would anyone prefer to call in on Skype? Let me know in the comments section whether that would make it more appealing for you to just ring up. Of course, you don't have to give your real name. You don't have to share anything about yourself. I just enjoy having a bit more interaction with my audience. So that is the whole purpose of Open Lines, which I'll be back with next week. Okay. Yeah, huge thanks to everyone who's taken part tonight. And this video is from Truth and Grace Fellowship. Did I get the name right? I hope so. Grace and Truth Fellowship. The link has been put in the live chat and it will be in the description. Yeah, I mean, personally, I find this really interesting. You guys might not so much. Okay, I am over and out for tonight. I'll catch you all again soon. Have a great week, everyone. See you soon. Good night, all. Night KG, as I've just seen your comment. Yeah, you're absolutely right. They believe anything now. That's how it comes down to. Right, I'm done. Over and out. Good night, people, and enjoy this video. Follow the link to watch the whole thing if you're interested. See ya.
There are great ideas undiscovered, breakthroughs available to those who can remove one of truth's protective layers.
If you've got this gut-wrenching feeling that something big is about to happen, there's a reason. And it has everything to do with what is now being disclosed to the general public.
Bombshell UFO report is expected in June from the U.S. government.
Meantime, UFO sightings in New York have nearly doubled since the pandemic began, and we are getting new video from the Navy showing pyramid-shaped objects flying in the sky.
We were warned by the late Wernher von Braun in the years leading up to his death in 1977 that there were going to be a certain number of cards played on humanity, all leading to a culminating event. Now, everything Wernher von Braun warned us about has come true, except for what he called the final card that they were going to play on us, and it has everything to do with UFOs.
The strategy that Wernher von Braun taught me was that first the Russians are going to be considered to be the enemy. In fact, when I met him in '74, they were the enemy. Then terrorists would be identified, and that was soon to follow. We heard a lot about terrorism. Then we were going to identify third world country crazies. We now call them nations of concern. But he said that would be the third enemy against whom we would be needing to build space-based weapons. And the next enemy was asteroids.
This new one you're tracking, how big?
It's what we call a global killer. Nothing would survive, not even bacteria.
An asteroid some scientists call a city killer came closer to Earth than the moon this week. The scary thing is that scientists had no idea it was coming.
Now at this point, he kind of chuckled the first time he said it. Asteroids, against asteroids, we're going to build space-based weapons. So it was funny then. And the funniest one of all was against what he called aliens, extraterrestrials. That would be the final card. And over and over and over, during the 4 years that I knew him and was giving his speeches for him, he would bring up that last card. And remember, Carol, the last card is the alien card. We're going to have to build space-based weapons against aliens. And all of it, he said, is a lie. The way he said it to me, there was no doubt in my mind that he knew something that he was too afraid to talk about.
Can you tell us, have unidentified flying objects been seen?
Well, sure. We have lots of reports about what we call unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Just a few days ago, the Pentagon confirmed that a 2019 video of a UFO sighting is actually real. It was a UFO.
Very importantly, I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force as the 6th branch of the armed forces. That's a big statement.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
They've done a great job systematically programming each one of us into believing that this alien threat is very real and very near. But what they don't want us to realize is what ancient accounts actually say about these beings. Now, the idea that ancient aliens encountered mankind is very popular today. We've all seen these accounts of aliens bringing us great technologies and sharing all these secrets with us. But what they want you to forget is the actual origin of these ancient alien stories. They were never considered to be from outer space. They were considered to be fallen angels.
Could we reinterpret the story of fallen angels as beings not from heaven, but from Mars?
Accounts dating back thousands of years depict an angelic race of people coming down and sharing their technologies and their ideas with mankind, even producing offspring. But they want us to forget that and replace it with this idea of ancient aliens from space. And they have to, because that's the only way this deception is going to work, is if we don't understand what's going on. Now, if we look back at the origin of the modern alien abduction era, we'll see that it has a very demonic undertone.
And look at this character right here, Aleister Crowley. He's out there in January through March of 1918 doing a series of magical experiments called the Emelantra workings, in which he is said to have opened a portal to another dimension, allowing an entity, I believe a demon, named Lamb, to enter through it. Now, this is the drawing that he made in 1918 of this character that he apparently had some interaction with. You know, if you look at this picture, it's curiously similar to something we might call an alien gray today in pop culture. So, you know, it doesn't take a whole lot of research on this character to realize he was into some really, really dark stuff. So why did I bring this up? This is, 1918 time frame. Well, you have this character who's very much a part of the early space program, Jack Parsons, who was basically a disciple, practically an heir apparent to Crowley and all of his activities. Well, supposedly, Crowley's portal was further enlarged by Jet Propulsion Laboratory founder and rocket fuel scientist Jack Parsons. Okay, this is the guy who was one of the founding members of JPL. It was a big part of NASA and the space program. And he's out there with Scientology and Dianetics founder L. Ron Hubbard in March of 1946 at a location that later became known as Area 51. They're doing all kinds of ceremonial sex magic. And they called it the Babylon working. And it's very similar to the Emelantra working, based on ceremonial sex magic. But unlike Crowley, however, they were not as adept at opening and closing portals, and theirs apparently stayed open, and the modern UFO era began 1 year later in 1947, the same year Crowley died. So, this is all going on about the same time you've got Admiral Byrd going down there for Operation High Jump. And a decade later, we got the founding of NASA, and these are the characters, okay? Freemasons, Nazis, and occultists creating the space program.
What we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They have infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51.
I remember the conversation very well. This is a person I respected tremendously, very, very senior person. He told me, he said, "Lou, I want you to stop doing this." I said, "Okay, sir, I certainly can, but may I ask why?" And he says, "Well, we already know what it is." Now, at that moment, I honestly thought maybe it was our own technology. I was running up against some super uber secret SAP, and they were telling me to stop. And I said, "Okay, sir, so it's ours?" And he said, "No, that's not what I'm saying." And he said, he asked me point blank, "Have you read your Bible lately?" And I wasn't quite sure where he was going with that. And I said, "Well, sir, I think I know what it says. Where are you going with this?" And he said, "Well, then you would know that these things are demonic, and we should not be pursuing them." Yeah, and he wasn't kidding. That's exactly how he felt.
So this is a Pentagon, this is a Department of Defense official saying, stop looking at UFOs because they're demonic?
Correct.
Before we can actually fully appreciate just how big this deception is going to be, we have to uncover the underlying deception, the one that puts this whole thing to rest. We all grew up believing the story that we were told, that Earth is just a speck of dust in an infinite universe, that there are other Earth-like galaxies out there and planets far, far away, and aliens could come visit us one day. But think back to the origin of that reality. It was told to us by people that we know and trust. Our teachers, our parents, everything we saw on television supported this narrative. But what if we were actually at the center of the universe in a very unique place? And that brings us back to what every ancient cosmology understood about the skies that they were seeing above. They were not told what to believe. They were going out and they were mapping out the skies. And every one of them came to the conclusion that these stars that were rotating above our heads were making their own orbits in a fixed way. They believed that the heavens above were unchanging.